And would you rather cross paths with a man or a bear in the forest?
Depends on the man and depends on the bear.
So it's random bear, random man.
Oh, okay. He said, so you don't pick.
So you might get lucky with a good man, or you might get lucky
because
with a bad.
I am a professional athlete, I think that even if the man did attack me, then I would stand a better shot at being able to defend myself against that man than that bear. But also the bear could just leave me alone and the man could attack me. So
yeah, and the bear could attack you and the man could leave you alone.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay, so which do you pick if you had to pick one?
I would say, I guess man this time.
Okay, what about you?
Well, one time, it's actually funny. It's a quick story, quick.
All right.
I was on, it's funny. I was on a boat full of lesbians. They were, I was on a boat. We were all friends. It's fine. And it was just ironic because they asked me, oh, what do you think? We saw a bear. I'm from where bears live. So we see a bear. We're like, oh my God, there's a bear. And then they asked me, aren't you scared of seeing bears in the woods when you walk around? Blah, blah, blah. What are you most scared of in the woods? And I literally said, seeing a man. So not a bear. I'd rather see a bear any day. Come across them all the time.
Okay, so
What? Wait, hold on a second. If you saw a bear, if you saw a bear in the woods,
Which
would
I
you
have.
rather see, the moment you see a bear and you're afraid, a bear that looks like it's going to attack you, would you rather see another bear or a man?
Why does it look like it? We weren't talking about looks like it's going to attack you. We just said, would you rather see a bear or a
Well,
man?
if it's a bear, it could attack you, right?
It could.
Right?
It
If
so
it's
could
bear.
a man.
You don't
But-
know if it's going to or not. If there was a bear, would you rather would you rather have another bear there or a man?
Another bear.
Bear.
I've been around many bears.
I'm just going to let the rest of the
You've
girls
been around
answer
a lot.
on this.
Okay, sorry.
I'd
No,
rather
it's all
be
good,
around
it's
a
all good.
man.
You pick men? Okay. What about you?
Bear.
Bear?
I would pick a man.
What about you?
A man.
Okay, what about you?
Just a bear.
Bear, okay. Okay, so bear.
Bear.
Really quick, before we get into the bear thing, we'll linger on it. We'll briefly. Can you pull up, Quentin, can you pull up that bear article? So apparently, guys, there was a black bear sighting in Santa Barbara.
Oh, I saw that.
In Santa Barbara. It was on the college campus. Black bear sighting in Goleta and UCSB, that's University of California, Santa Barbara, that's super close. Prompt alerts and warnings. Local residents have been spotting a black bear throughout Goleta neighborhoods in UC Santa Barbara. And then scroll down just a bit. Scroll down. We're going to skip that video, We're going to play that video, though, if you can press play on it. So could you go full screen on that one? So you're just going to, that little full screen symbol. Oh, shit.
Feel bad for him.
so
Damn, that's
scared.
crazy. That's on the university campus, just a black bear
Why are they
chilling,
so
I
close
could
to
guillotine
it?
kicking
it.
it,
It's probably so
just
scared.
kicking it.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, the
scared.
bears
And
are
then,
scary.
and then escape out of that, and then just hit escape. And then scroll down a little bit. Let's see if there's anything else. Keep scrolling.
They're more
Okay, I
scared of
think that's
us
pretty
than we
much
are
it.
of them. That's why I said
That's
bear.
pretty much it. So, really quick, we only have a few minutes to give to this specific topic. For those who picked bear, that's you, and you, Ruby. Why do you pick bear? Why don't you pick men? Quick answers if you can. Actually, let's start with Ruby first. Ruby, why don't you go first?
I'm very weak. So I think if I would run into a man, like I would feel very defenseless and vulnerable. And if it's my time to go, being, eaten by a bear, I guess. I'd rather be eaten by a bear than like running into danger with like a man. Like it's okay, make it quick.
Okay, what about you?
I said bear because you could scare it off. Like with bears,
I
you
guess,
can
okay. You could probably scare off a man too, I guess.
yeah, but you got to work really hard to scare them off. You know what I mean?
Hold your nails up to the camera.
They don't leave.
Hold your nails up.
They don't leave easy, even with these.
Oh no, that shit could scare somebody away.
They don't leave easy. They
Okay.
don't.
Why do you pick bear?
I just feel personally more comfortable alone with a bear than a man I don't know. So, and I've been around bears in many situations like that.
Yeah,
And I've walked in the woods where I've come across, like, let's just say I'm hiking a trail and I come across a man I don't know. I'm immediately more on guard than I am with a bear because I feel much less threatened by a wild animal, honestly, than I do a man I don't know. Alone.
Yeah, so
In a setting where I'm all alone.
Yeah, so for the women who picked bear, is the assessment, the analysis here, you're doing a risk assessment and you're thinking, okay, the random man could do nothing, the random bear could do nothing. Or the man could have bad intentions, and the bear could, he could kill me. The man could try to essay me, and the bear would just kill me. Is that kind of your assessment there? Like, okay, the guy could essay you, basically.
That's mine assessment.
That's your assessment. What about you?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
That the guy would.
Like, is that the fear, basically?
Yeah, the fear of that. And I know I'm putting myself into my own shoes, but I literally have been around so many bears that they don't scare me at all.
Okay. So, I guess just to ask bluntly, what percentage of men do you think are inclined towards, like, essaying women? We'll start with you, Ruby.
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
What percentage of men do you think are inclined to essay women? Or kill them, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, just give me, you don't have to be precise. It could be, and if it's off by a few percentage, 10%, 20%, 30%, 40, 50, majority.
Okay, just based on I feel like I'm in a bubble, especially since I'm here in Santa Barbara. I feel like I live in paradise.
Let's just talk United States.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't been to a lot of the...
Yeah, that's fine. I haven't been to certain places, and
I wouldn't know how to put a number on that.
It's kind of hard to put a number on something like that, to be honest.
I think 7%.
7% for you?
I wouldn't know a number.
I think 7%.
Out of
everyone in the world,
I don't have
out
a
of
good gauge.
men.
I'd probably say like 60%. That's
Wait.
like a little bit more than half.
Hold on. Sorry, repeat it.
Sorry.
Repeat it.
Oh, I'd say 60%.
60.
60%, okay.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm surrounded by like really good people. It's hard for me to like imagine.
So you just think like Santa Barbara is hold on, guys, stop. You think Santa Barbara is this enclave of like really good guys, but you step outside Santa Barbara and it's like grape central?
No. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Repeat the question.
I'm just saying I don't know any better. I don't know what to compare it with, since I've been always like in a very safe space.
I don't know. What do the feminists tell you?
I don't really listen to them. I don't know if you've been hearing my answers. I'm not really that pro modern feminism. I think it's damaging
we
to
could
society.
probably make a case for the opposite. But so if you just had to throw a number on it,
20.
20. Okay, and then what about you?
I just don't know why you want us to give numbers. Like, why
would it matter?
what's the point of it?
Why would the reasonings for my asking the question
Because
matter?
I don't have a number. Like, I can't honestly give a number. I don't want to just spew out crap. Like, I don't know how many men would be. I'd have to see the statistics.
It doesn't have to be accurate. What do you feel?
What do
do
I
you
feel?
think?
There's a lot of. I don't know the percentage of how many men would want to do that, but I just feel like it could be. As a woman, I was placed in a position, to be on high alert, and that's how I grew up. So I'm always ready to think that anybody could do anything at any time. So I don't know.
Do you want to just throw out 30%, 40%, 50%?
Oh, maybe like the whole population of the U.S., right? That's what we're going to base this off of.
Yeah.
Maybe like 10%.
Okay, sure. So 10%. Ruby,
Maybe
did
20.
Ruby, you give a percent?
I said 20.
20%. What did you give? 7%, and then you said 60 for
Yeah,
some.
but I have no idea. Like that was just a random number.
But why did your intuition bring you to 60%?
I don't know. I feel like people underestimate a lot. I don't know. It's like where you don't know if you're always sitting next to a murderer. I don't know. You told me to give you a number. I just gave you a number. I just guessed. I didn't know.
I mean, within the.
Well,
within
I just
reason.
thought maybe more than half. I don't know.
So you think 60% of men are grapists?
No, you asked like who would think about that. Like you asked how many percentage of men we thought would think about it.
Wait, hold on.
Well, that's what I thought you said.
I definitely didn't say would think about it. I said.
Well, I thought you meant
what?
like thought about it, like doing it to someone. My bad. Sorry.
I wouldn't even say 60% of men have thought about. Okay. Okay, what percent, if you had to assign a percentage, well, I don't know if you're just walking it back because you're like, 60. That's ridiculous.
No,
but
I'm not. I just don't know.
Okay,
I
then
just said a number.
then throw out a number for like what percentage of men do you think would be inclined in this situation of being and they're in the forest alone with a woman? What percentage of men would grape a woman?
I don't know. I'll say 20. I don't know.
20%.
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, I'm just curious if this changes anything for you. Well, I'll wait till she's back on the bear conversation. But
Are
do
you
you?
going to compare statistics?
What do you mean?
Like what the percentages of being attacked by a bear versus how many?
Well, here's the thing: well, let me ask you. Do you think that it would be fair to compare all the bear attacks in the USA and compare and say there's more essays and there's more like men who are violent towards women or who murder women than there are bear attacks? Do you think that that's a fair comparison?
You're the one who asks the question. We just answered it. You're the one making the comparison. Like the question that was written there, we didn't word that question. You're the one making the comparison.
So repeat your question.
Well, I didn't ask a question.
She
You
asked
just
if you
asked
were
a
gonna.
question.
She asked if you were gonna compare the statistics of like how many people get raped and how many people have been attacked by bears.
So I mean,
that was her question.
I would say one, and I don't think the statistics here would necessarily, no pun intended, bear out. So I think per capita is important here. The amount of most people are not encountering bears nearly at the same frequency as they're encountering men. And so I think that you have to do an analysis of per encounter, right? But even beyond that, I think it's interesting to say, I'd rather be, it's sort of emblematic of the degree of feminism and sort of casual misandry, man-hatred that permeates society. So to say, I'd rather encounter a wild animal, dangerous, bears are apex predators, than with a random man seems to be a rather, I mean, I would just paint it as sexist. I think it's a sexist position. What, just one last
Can I
thing.
just posit? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, just one last thing. So I guess my final question on this is as follows. Do you guys think it would be racist if the question was changed as follows? Would you rather cross paths with a black person or a bear in the forest? And if somebody picked bear instead of black person, would they be a racist?
I feel like that
Black
makes
person, because you're just saying person.
Can you scoot your mic to the edge of the table, please?
You're
Go
just
ahead.
saying person, right? Not woman.
Yeah,
or
black
man.
person. So it could be a black woman. It could be a black woman. It could be a black man. But they pick the bear black person.
I think the fact that you pulled in race
Yeah.
into the
Makes it
question makes
racist.
it racist.
Yes.
Wait, what do you mean? Wait, hold on. How does that make it racist?
The same way it
Like,
makes
what-
it
because
sexist.
we don't know if
like
it's
when
a
you make it
we don't know if
sexist
it's a man
because
or a
you ask
woman.
If it's a boy or a girl.
I see. So just to be clear, you'd pick the black woman over the black man.
Because
Again,
it's a
it's
woman.
making it like it's making
Right.
it racist.
Okay, cool. So I get it.
because
You
of
guys
how
are sexist.
Just like how
just
it made
admit
it
you're
sexist.
sexist, though. But
It's
hold
not
on.
about being sexist. It's
Yes,
about
it
being
is.
scared.
Okay, I actually love this point. So, but really quick before I
And it
get
has
to that,
nothing to do with color.
how is it? So, are you saying me just even asking the question, I'm racist? Is that what you're saying, or
I'm not. I'm saying it makes the question racist. Like, why
How
are you
would the
bringing-
question?
Yeah, we didn't-
Wait,
we didn't
but
say
so
you were
how?
Why are you
But so
bringing
then,
race
so then,
into this? When you ask the
so
question,
why are
man,
we bringing gender into this? So just to be clear, what then? If using your own logic, if the question itself is racist, to say I would rather if they you're not even pointing to the answer of it. You're just saying the question in and of itself is racist. So then, surely, following your logic, it would be sexist
Yes.
to even ask the question, do you pick the man or the bear?
Yes, sexist.
Is that fair?
you're saying if it makes it sexist,
Is it sexist?
to me.
I mean, following your own logic, if it's racist to just put in black person in place of man, it must also then be sexist.
Because
Because what?
men are usually known to be like more aggressive. They're stronger.
You sure you
than
want to go
women.
down this? Okay, so
Do
you want to play a statistics game?
Am I wrong to say that men are usually like typically stronger, like physically?
Statistically, men get assaulted more than women, right? Statistically.
Yes,
getting
men.
assaulted
So yes,
more than
men are
women?
more likely to be victims
what
of violent crime. But
Not
But by men
sexual
or by
abuse.
women?
how would that? How would it matter?
Because if it's a man is being attacked by a man, you know, that kind of confirms that they are being violent towards each other.
I'll just go ahead and grant, just for the sake of this argument, I'll go ahead and grant that, men are men as compared to women are. Fuck it, I'll just grant it. More likely to be.
Let's suffer together.
What's that?
Sorry.
To be violent. Sure. Yeah. What's her point?
Well, that's the only reason why I would choose a bear.
Yeah, but so let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If statistics indicated, and I'm not going to make this claim, but this isn't necessarily my position, but if there were statistics to back up that certain racial groups were more or less violent than other racial groups, then what would actually be racist about, a white person or a Latino or a Asian person saying, I'd pick the bear over the black person? Now, my position would be, it would be racist to pick the bear over the black person.
Okay. I understand your point.
But so, is it racist?
Is it racist to pick the bear?
If you pick a bear, so the question is, would you rather cross paths with a black person or a bear in the forest?
Black person.
And you pick bear, is that racist?
It's just a weird question.
I feel like it's
Yeah,
a trick question.
sure. I agree. I'm gonna go.
don't know.
I'm not gonna argue with you whether it's weird or not. I'll go ahead and grant it's a super
I'm
weird
not
question.
answering that.
Answer the question.
No.
Why? I'm just curious though. Why is it so easy for you to just instantly bear if it's a man, but if we
Because I
change
don't
it,
know if it's a man or a woman. And
It's
I
a
don't like
black person.
hypotheticals, so.
Yeah, and a black
It's a-
person could be a man or a woman.
right? So you would be taking, and a man could be totally harmless, or like there's a 0.0001% chance he could be a serial killer, but you still pick bear.
Yeah, we have flawed logic.
It's
I mean,
based off of
okay, I'll
society,
take that as a
actually.
W then.
And
I
I
mean,
was
sure.
I was raised in a
That's a W
military
then. Cool.
household.
Okay, take your W.
with a
Thank you
dad
for
that
conceding.
really
Thank you for
cared about
conceding.
it.
Take it. Next question.
Thank you for conceding the argument then. It's just interesting. Like, I would say if you pick bear over black person, that makes you a racist.
I would
If
say
you
asking
pick
it
bear
makes you
over man,
racist.
that makes you
The
a
question
sexist.
itself is just
He wants to be
not
racist
worth
so
answering.
bad.
So this is what I want.
It makes you
Hold on.
racist.
I have two questions. I have
Asking
two
doesn't make-
questions here.
Asking makes it racist, brother.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have two quick hypotheticals here.
Go ahead.
Let's change this the environment. If you walk into an elevator, would you rather be in an elevator with a wild bear or a random man?
Okay, I would choose a man.
The man's gonna be in the elevator anyways. You're not gonna find a bear in an elevator.
No, I didn't ask what you think is going to be happening anyways. I asked you, you have a choice. You either get in the elevator with a bear, a wild bear, or a man, which you're actually looking at as wild, right? You're just as wild as the bear in this case, right? What do you choose in the elevator scenario?
So the man's wild. You just said the bear is just as wild as
I'm
the
saying
man.
you
and-
guys are treating men as wild in the bear-man hypothetical. So I agree, men are dangerous, bears are dangerous. So now I'm just changing the environment and seeing what you guys say. If you
Because
guys could just kindly engage with the hypothetical, okay?
Because it's in such
have a choice.
close proximity,
You have it- okay.
I would in that instance, I would choose a man. Yeah.
A man.
Yeah.
Okay. But the man could just as well violate you, right?
I know.
For the women who chose the bear, isn't it the case that trapped in an elevator, that's a perfect time to
Yeah,
violate
I would
you?
still choose the bear. I never change my answer.
Would you you get in the elevator with a bear instead of a
bear.
random man?
The bear.
Cool. Okay, cool. So
Every time a
so the
man
other thing
actually
is,
steps into an
if
elevator
it's
with
the
me, I feel
case, let's
uncomfortable.
just grant it that men are dangerous. Let's just grant it that you have every reason to be fearful of men, random, collective, individual at that level. Okay. Now I want to ask you guys a question. Do Do any one of you ladies oppose the patriarchy? Like find that you hold a position that we should take it down?
What?
The reason I'm connecting these is if it's the case
Is that
you're
because men
actually
are
afraid of
leaders in the
Hold
patriarchy?
on. Hold on a second. If it's the case that you take the bear over the man, you're admitting that men are dominant, violent, aggressive, and scary, basically. That you should watch out. That you should avoid them, basically. If that's the case, aren't you conceding that reality, descriptively, is dominated by men?
I mean, would you argue otherwise?
No, I wouldn't argue
wouldn't-
otherwise.
I wouldn't
I'm just
either.
on your concession that if it's the case that reality, descriptively, is dominated by men, such that you would even choose the bear over the man, how could you possibly, any one of you, take a position of feminism or questioning the patriarchy if in fact you're so afraid of men that you would choose a wild beast who's basically designed to eat your body parts one by one?
Not.
No.
They're
I
not
will-
designed to eat humans.
I will say that I'm giving my answer based on like the worst circumstances, meaning like if I'm like in the wild and then there's like a strange, dangerous man, that's what I'm comparing in my mind. If I would encounter myself with a stranger, a man, dangerous and aggressive versus a wild bear, then, you know, I'd weigh my options more the bear because I would just stay still. You know?
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you encountered a man who you thought was aggressive and was going to harm you, and you asked another question, would you choose a bear or another additional man who was good?
Then I
Wouldn't
would
you
choose
choose
the
the man?
good man. If you're
Okay.
telling me if I have to choose a wild bear versus a good man, hands down,
Yeah.
like a good man.
Well,
and
that's where it all breaks down, because if I simply change the location of the hypothetical to an elevator, suddenly everyone on the panel chooses, except for Pink here, because she's delusional, chooses the man. Why? Because it's more likely the case that you take elevators every day in your ordinary life. That's an opportunity for every male that you ever thought was horrible to violate you on the elevator. Yet you would still choose a bear in the instance where the hypothetical and the probability is very unlikely that a random man would attack you in an elevator. You would still choose the bear. Only one of you chose
Not
the
as
bear. by the
unlikely
way.
as the bear being in the elevator.
Now I'm wondering what's the difference between in the woods bear man versus in the elevator bear man?
Repeat it.
What's the difference between bear in the woods such that you choose the bear, but you choose the man in the elevator?
What's the difference between the bear in the woods versus the man in the elevator?
What's the difference between the two hypotheticals? What's the threshold breaker? What's the symmetry breaker between choosing the bear? It doesn't apply to you because you fucking chose the bear in the elevator. No one
someone else
else on
can
the
answer
panel
it.
chose the bear in the elevator, but they chose the man. So for anyone who chose the man in the hypothetical, who chose the bear in the hypothetical in the woods over the man, and you chose the man over the bear in the elevator, what's the difference? Why did that change your answer?
Are you talking to me?
Who?
Okay, I don't know who you're talking to.
No, I'm not talking to Pink because you chose bear for both. I'm talking to anybody who chose bear in the woods but chose a man in the elevator. Who chose that? Did anyone choose that on the panel? You don't even remember. You guys don't even fucking remember. What
All right,
I wasn't listening.
they
fucking like talking to computers, dude.
checked out.
Yeah.
But question, so do you guys think, and final thing on the bear thing, because of women, and I acknowledge that women have had, maybe majority of women, all women even, have had bad experiences with men. Don't dispute it at all. There are bad men out there. Men do bad things, totally granted. But do you think, though, it's fair for women, based off of their bad experiences with men, what they've heard from other women, whatever it is, what society is telling them, do you think it's fair that they pick bear over man because of their own experiences or the experiences of other women?
I would argue that it's fair because they're not actively like impeding men from any type of thing. They're just changing their own behavior to protect themselves against like having the same experience again. So it's not like it's a matter of sexism against men in which they can't get jobs or interact, in which way they're just choosing to take a different path.
Okay, well, let's do a little thought experiment then. Let me ask this. Let's say there's a white person who either themselves or has known people who have been assaulted by a black person. They also see news stories and belong to online groups, and their TikTok algorithm feeds them stories about black on white crime. Because of their safety concerns, they're scared of black people. They believe all black people have the capacity for violence or assault of some kind, et cetera, et cetera. Would you say that this is a racist position to hold?
It's an ignorant one, yeah.
Then surely it must be, if it's racist, surely the position, and should we fight against racism?
We should always fight against racism.
Racism bad? Okay,
Yes.
sexism bad? So why are we doing all this coping for women as it relates to their sexism towards men?
So how a woman feels about her safety is just sexist to you, right? How we've been raised in the world and how we view safety.
I think if you're painting with a broad
like you
brush,
are.
that you would rather be in the forest with a wild animal than with a random man,
And I have
knowing
been
that the
many
majority
times.
knowing that the majority of men are good men who would never lay a finger
So are
on
bears.
Huh?
Majority of bears are good too.
you. Wait, what?
just
But
saying.
bears are good? That doesn't even, hold on.
Bears are good.
Bears just have instinct.
Not to kill people. A bear wasn't born thinking they're going to kill people. They're thinking they're going to kill fish.
How would that relate to my
eat
argument?
berries.
So how about you contend with the actual argument here? So again, if I'm saying it's racist though, but I'm also saying it would be racist to pick bear over black person. I think that would be racist. But you guys won't concede that it's sexist to pick bear. Just say you're sexist. Okay. I mean, or you just have a double standard.
It's not true.
How is it not true?
It's just not.
This is cognitive dissonance exhibit A. So if it is, I'm just literally using your same logic. If a white person has fears over their safety, just like you said when it comes to women over their safety. And let's see, I mean, can a woman be irrational? Can a white person be irrational? Could this fear be irrational? Perhaps. It must, if it is sexist, it surely then too must, or excuse me, if it is racist, it surely must then too be sexist. Do you disagree?
I don't believe that it's sexist now.
So you don't, okay, so hold on. Is it racist, the picking the bear over the black person?
I'm not answering it.
You're not answering it because you know the answer reveals.
No, it's just, it's not right. It's not, I'm not doing that. It's just below.
So just to be clear, it's okay to make this analysis of men, but when it comes to race, not okay.
I'm not going to touch that topic now.
I'm not asking you to be.
Because I'm not racist.
I'm sure, no, but I'm sure you would agree, like, would you pick?
You're saying person and you're not saying a man. You're saying a person, a black person.
Right,
That's
so
why I don't know
love
who
your
it is.
justification of sexism towards men. This is great. This is wonderful. So me personally, if I was given the option between a black person and a bear, I'm picking the black person.
Good for you.
I'd prefer to be, whether it's a man, whether it's a woman,
Right, because
don't care.
you're a man. You've never had to feel the way a woman feels about being alone with a man she doesn't know.
I've been the victim of a violent crime, so I know, yeah, I'm fine making this determination. Even if I wasn't the victim of a violent crime,
we're not
I could
talking
also,
about violent crime. We're talking about sexual abuse in this case.
yeah, men can also be victims of SA.
Right. So,
Wait, are you pro-choice or pro-life?
I'm pro-choice.
So a woman who's never had an abortion, can she have a position on abortion?
A woman who's never had one?
A woman who's never been pregnant, never had an abortion, is she allowed to have an opinion on abortion?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm a man. I'm allowed to have an opinion on something.
Right, and
regardless
so
of my
am
gender.
I.
Huh?
And I'm a woman. We're all allowed to have opinions, period, on anything.
Yeah, but you just tried to dismiss my opinion because I'm a man.
In what way?
The way you just did. You said, well, you don't know how it is to be, and then you goalpost shifted. And I was like, I've actually been victim of a violent crime before. But then, let's talk about SA. Okay, well, so? Just because, so in order to have a position or opinion on something, you must have gone through said dilemma. I think starving children in Africa, that's a bad thing. I think that's
Helps
bad.
when you've been through it, yeah.
I mean, I've been hungry, but I haven't been a starving child in Africa. I think starving children in Africa is a bad thing. Am I not allowed to think that?
Most women in this country and almost in the world have had that happen to them. So some form of SA.
Sure, I'll go. I mean, there's disputes as to the incidence rate of that crime. I'll go ahead and grant it for the sake of the conversation. So, what does that have to do with the argument at hand?
That every woman I've talked to has been through that, including myself.
You know what? Here, I'll even grant 100. Every single woman has been brutally gang raped. What does that have to do with the argument at hand? Bad thing happened to woman. Okay, cool. I get it. What does that have to do with the argument at hand?
I'm still not answering the question about the bear person.
You don't want to answer it because it would reveal your just blatant man-hating and sexism.
It's not man-hating.
It literally is.
Man-hating is crazy. You're reaching.
Yeah.
How is that? How is that reaching?
Everybody at this table but you know that.
Okay.
You're a man-hater.
I'll reframe it again. If I pick bear over black person, does that mean that I hate black people? Would that point towards racism or hatred of black people?
No.
Well, you know what? It might not point towards hatred, but you would agree that it's racist.
I would agree that it's racist.
Okay.
But I do think that she's just saying that you can't really speak on what women feel because you're not a woman. That's what she's saying. She's not saying that because you're a guy.
Why do I need a uterus to have an opinion on something?
It's just like we don't understand what you go through
It's
as a
like
man
trying to
because we're
say
not
that,
men.
yeah, you're trying to get us to view your head. Just earlier with the jujitsu, men view this way. You don't know how men think. Okay, you don't know how women think. Men and women think differently. Doesn't make you sexist.
But it kind of does.
Then you're sexist too.
How would that be sexist?
Your whole podcast is sexist.
Why is it sexist?
You literally come on here.
agree to
You literally
disagree.
come on here to try to provoke women on purpose
but here,
with all of these questions.
Sure. Before I'm happy to get
definitely
into
sexist.
that. No, that's totally fine. I'm happy to dive into that. Can you define sexism for me, though, first?
We only got like
Hold on.
10 minutes.
What?
Minutes of what? We only got
Stop. No, we got more time than that. We're going
Isn't
late.
it to have double standards based on sex?
Yeah, I didn't ask you. How do you define sexism?
Sexism is to be mistreated in the workplace, honestly. If you're not getting the same rights as a man, I think that's sexist.
Okay. So your definition. Okay, I see. So sexism can only impact women? You can't be sexist towards men, is what you're saying?
You can, but
But what?
it's not in terms of safety reality. It's different than
Men are more likely to be victims of violent crime. So men absolutely.
Okay, but you're talking about violent crime, so we're not talking about SA.
Safety, violent
We're also
crime.
not talking about SA. It's
Also, it's kind of convenient if the definition of grape makes it impossible for it to be something that can happen to a man.
It's not impossible.
Yeah. Based off the definition, depending on the framing, it can be impossible for it to be something that can be done to a man. So of course it's going to affect the statistics that feminists espouse if it can't be actually something that's done to a man.
What do you mean? Of course a man can be raped.
There are specific jurisdictions where, based on the definition of the actual crime of rape, it is impossible for a man to be victim of the crime. A woman can't rape. You can make some arguments, stronger arguments as it pertains to if a man rapes another man, but specifically, there are jurisdictions where a woman could not legally, definitionally. Rape.
Then that's wrong. It's absolutely possible.
Is.
Well, then
But
that's wrong. It doesn't just because that's how it is doesn't mean it's not.
That goes ahead and
that's wrong.
all the stats related to that.
Doesn't. Just because something is the way it is doesn't make it right.
So let's
it
get
should
back to
definitely be illegal for a woman to do that to a man.
Yes, I agree.
Absolutely.
That should be a crime. So
it is a crime, whether they like to say it or not.
Yeah,
That's
but
disgusting.
it's not categorized as grape. It's categorized as a essay. So
that's wrong.
Okay. So, anyways, how do you define sexism?
I mean, that's a great example.
What do you mean? What's a great example?
it's if it raping a man by
No,
a
I'm
woman.
not looking for examples of sexism. I'm looking for your definition of sexism.
To be discriminatory towards a man. Like,
Well, I would say it can apply to men or women, obviously. So,
okay, yeah, to be discriminatory
but okay,
towards
you
the
said
opposite
this
sex
podcast is sexist. How do you define sexism?
I mean, you come on here to tear apart a lot of things that women believe in themselves about, like,
So you think it's sexist to tell a woman that she's like not a 10, for example?
It's sexist to say that not every, like, there's no 10s in this world.
That wouldn't be sex. I could say if that was like a blanket
I
statement.
guess that wouldn't be sexist. That would be like your opinion.
I mean, I would say that.
I think sexism
about
is just
men and women, but
treating someone unfairly based on what
Being
their
a-
sex
yeah.
is, male or.
Okay, let's take that definition. Treating people unfairly based on their sex, so that applies to men and women. So do you agree that you hold a view that we should acknowledge and defend and enforce the violation of rights? Yes?
acknowledge and defend.
Anyone?
Say
Does
it again.
anyone disagree with the statement, we should acknowledge and defend and enforce the violation of rights?
Yes, we should.
Okay, we should. Okay, so in order to do that, isn't it the case that that relies wholly on the collective of men to do that? That couldn't happen with the collective of women?
So you're saying women can't change things in the world?
That's right. Collectively, yes. When it comes to force and enforcement, you couldn't collectively get a group of women to enforce or remove rights. But a collective of men could do it, right?
It's sexist to say that, yeah. That's a sexist thing to say that women couldn't change
Well, no,
something.
it's descriptively true that you as women rely on collectively men to defend and enforce the violation of rights.
That's like saying Rosa Parks did nothing.
Wait.
What?
I'm just like, women can change
What the
the...
fuck? What the I just literally reset my Nintendo. Isn't it the case that let's take it simple, okay? Rights themselves. The violation of rights requires an enforcement arm, right? So if you violate someone's rights, a group of men with muscle and guns come in and take you away, correct? And let's make it simple with crayons, right?
Okay, group of men
Yes.
taking you with guns.
What? I'm mumbling now.
I said okay.
Okay, so if that's the case, the appeal to rights itself supposes a discriminatory expectation and obligation for men collectively that doesn't apply to women. So to believe in rights and to advocate for rights, women's rights, the fact that you rely wholly on a collective of men to enforce those rights and the violation of such is sexist. You're discriminatory toward men to do that for you. Why? Because you guys can't do it yourself collectively. Are you sexist?
What makes you say that? What makes you say that? What makes you say
What
that?
makes I say that? What kind of question is that?
What-
What the fuck? What kind of question
And
is
see,
that?
the way you talk to women is also degrading. Like you're talking to us.
yeah, tone
Pretty
policing.
rudely.
I mean, it's just tone policing, but
Cool. So you literally addressed nothing I said. None of what I said just went through your little brain. Is there anyone on the panel who understands what I just said?
Sometimes it's hard when you're
I'm
just being
checked out.
rude to understand with that tone of voice.
Tone policing. Anyone? That didn't
So-
answer the question. Chair 1, do you understand what I just said?
Yes.
Can you give it back to me? Because I honestly think no one else on the panel can. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
I do believe that other women on this panel could give it back to you, but since you asked me, I will. You're saying that in order to have power, there needs to be an enforcing arm, so that women need men to enforce their rights. Otherwise, the rest of men will proceed to take them away, and vice versa, that women don't have that systemic ability. So women need men in order to give them the rights, because they cannot form, like all women cannot overpower all men.
Beautiful. Is that discriminatory? I'm not making a judgment about the discrimination, by the way. I'm just asking you, is that discriminatory?
No, that's not discriminatory. That's just based in facts.
It's just based in fact. So the fact is that there's a delineation, a clear distinction between men and women in regards to what they are how they are, what they're capable of. And for people to even claim sexism either way, right? There's no way of escaping this problem, that men and women are different. Even if you point to some sort of weird exception to the rule, for the most part, I don't think I could have put it better myself than Chair 1. She gave it back perfectly. Descriptively, it's the case that women rely on men and assume the obligation of collective men to protect their rights. But they don't assume that for women. Now, how is it related to the bear thing? It is related because Brian, you know, as high effort as he tried to do with you guys, he drew out this problem, this double standard you guys have with the bear, and another statistical element of race and crime. You guys couldn't engage with it, so we're going to skip to the male-female thing. Is it sexist to assume and expect protection from men? Is it sexist to assume that and expect it from men, but you don't expect it from women? Just silence. Just like a fucking. Yeah. It's like a meditation retreat right now.